As long as I can remember, I have been hooked to black metal. Even though some can debate my look as a non-metal or non-black metal look, I have friends and, of course, including myself, that I cannot hear other genres without suddenly needing my fix of some black metal. Its music gives me peace. So, welcome to my interview. This vlog's interview with Blackhorned. It's like so thirsty out here. So beautiful. It's probably the coldest we will get. Long live La Vita, with or without frost. Just look, it's literally green. No gloves because it's literally hot. Such a beautiful garden. I mean, wow, right? So maybe this part is gonna be darker, like old school black metal dark. Because today I'm interviewing black metal musician, Micheal Huhle, aka Blackhorned. Hi.
Hello.
So glad to have you here.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here and do this. First time actually I'm doing an interview like this in a live situation.
Really?
It is, yeah. I done by writing So this is the first time on camera.
That's so positive because you have a lot of viewers and a lot of listeners, a lot of fans. So it's
they see the civilized me. So yeah, that's cool.
for the viewers who doesn't know you, what is your name?
My name is Micheal, and that's my name. In Blackhorned, I go under the name Absolute, which is the character, kind of a character name, and well, it kind of came about. I was looking for a name when I started the project, and searched everywhere, and I came about this Kabbalah kind of tarot thing, and the name just popped up, and I thought it just sounded cool, and it had a meaning of some sort of fire entity, fire demon or demonic deity or something like that. So I kind of chose that as a kind of a character name, and that's just stuck with me ever since. So
Nice.
yeah, but it's a character name. So
If you also can tell the viewers what Blackhorned is for a band and why you think people who haven't heard you should listen to Blackhorned.
how to describe Blackhorned? I mean, it's it was kind of started as my love and interest for this old school underground black thrash metal thing, and you know, it's old school, simple, to the point, black thrash metal, and the band has been around since early 2001. It came about, the idea, in late 2000 and early 2001. I started developing the ideas for it, and you know, a handful of demos later, in 2005, I got the first album release. This one up there, The Arrival of the Fire Demon, which was actually it was actually just a handful of 10 demo songs that I have collected. It wasn't even for the purpose of an album at all. It was just, I had a bunch of songs for whatever I could use them for, splits and compilations and whatever. But an Austrian label called Pistol Records, I remember it was, I think, offered me to have it released as a full album, and they did, and then it disappeared, just out of the blue. Just, I got about 10 CDs and a ton of covers, and couldn't use it for anything. It was like, well, got pretty fucked there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I expressed my frustration in a new interview that I did, and the guy from Portugal owned at that time quite new label called Goathorn Productions, and he offered me to actually release it properly, so it was becoming a real album with booklets and all of that, and so I just jumped up right on and said, yes, of course, gotta get out of this situation. And he offered me that, and then what can you say, the rest is history. So and why people should listen to it, I mean, it's their own choice, of course. But it's I mean, it's just for the love of this old school, underground black thrash metal, and give it a listen.
I can relate. I love black metal.
Yeah.
It's my favorite music.
It's great, yeah. And this is really the old school way of doing it, really too simple and to the point, and just primitive productions and all of that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So I have a thing. I have one of 3 questions.
Fighting.
Good this or that?
Yeah.
So,
let's get to it.
pasta or pizza?
Ooh, that's difficult. That is difficult. I like both. If I, right now, going for the gut feeling, I would say pizza. But it can switch at any moment. So right now, pizza. And it's very good for hangovers.
It's all you know how to do it. As I have learned in nerding all about your band Blackhorned, I have seen that you are a huge fan of old school black metal, and just as you also said, and I again can 100% relate. Black metal, the old school way, it's just the best, so pure, so good. You tell once that you created Blackhorned as a response and a relief way from others you have played with before Blackhorned, as you said. The other bands you played with played mainly melodic death metal and vampire keyboards dominated shit.
That comes from an old interview, I think.
That they weren't interested in the more brutal underground metal, and from that you formed your own project for the kind of music you wanted to create. So the question I sit with now is, how is your attitude now, 19 years after, on that kind of music that you went away from? Are there bands that plays that kind of music, melodic death metal and vampire keyboards, that you now like, and which bands are they?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of music that I like. I really like a lot of different kinds of music, as long as it catches me and gives me something and inspires me in some ways. I mean, melodic death metal, there's a lot. I mean, that plays it now, I mean, names on the top of my head. I think they're called Revocation. They have some really catchy, melodic, but still aggressive music. Tribulation, going from the dirty underground death metal, which was cool, and progressed into this more melodic, catchy, still aggressive music, and At the Gates, of course. I mean, Dark Tranquility is still holding up. Don't talk about it, friends. That's only the early stuff that I dig. I can't comment on what they're doing now. Melodic vampire things. I mean, Cradle of Filth is still going strong. It's not the band I listen to that much. Really dig the early stuff, but not that much that style at this point anymore. But yeah, again, there's so much music that I listen to. It's all over the board, from not even metal stuff, old rock and prog and some jazz as well, and whatever kind of music that gives me something. I'm very inspired by all kinds of music, basically. So, but mostly metal.
Well, as we all can go back and grab some inspiration from the past, have you perhaps ended up putting some melodic death and metal and vampire keyboards in your own music?
Not vampire music. I don't think I've talked about that. But, I've, from Lost in Twilight World album, also the I was switching to a German label called Undercover Records. And at that point, I was in a state of my life where I kind of, there's a lot of emotions going on, and I was quite in a dark place at that point, but I kind of felt natural to put a bit more development into the music after the Dawn of Doom album, and started incorporating a lot of melody and putting a bit of touches of some keyboards on it, only to create an atmosphere, not to make it an instrument in music, but more kind of creating some moods. And I kind of, it became a bit more melodic and not as fast and aggressive and dirty and grinding. It was becoming a bit more melodic, a bit more atmospheric. So in that sense, yeah, there was a little development at that point. Those 2 albums on the cover records, This and Dark Seasons, had a bit more melody and a bit more atmosphere to them, which has kind of disappeared again as we go on, back to the old stuff.
That reminds me of the next question. From your first demo, Satan, to the first release, The Arrival of the Fire Demon, how did the music change and how did your perspective come to be on the Blackhorned sound? Like, on the sound?
Blackhorned. Yeah. Oh yeah, I think. We know black hellhounds and evil creatures. Satan demo, that's kind of, it was a tryout. It was just me having, it actually goes back to the earlier question about, I wanted to kind of make my own. At that point, I've been a drummer in bands, and playing in bands where I was just a drummer. And I had this eager to kind of try and do something on my own and do something that I wanted to do. Trying to make some music in that style that the other guys didn't want to do. And so I created a project, and it's called Grim Is My Life. I created a project, and quickly after a few demos, it kind of developed into its own style, away from that thing, which is what it became, and it's another thing. So it was natural that it developed away from the black metal thing. So I once again thought, I had to create something that is what it is, black metal, underground, dirty, kind of paying my own little tribute to that kind of underground style, and just to try out. I didn't know what I was doing. I really couldn't play that much guitar. I was just a drummer. I couldn't play that much guitar, and I just wanted to make a bunch of noise. So that first demo was more of a tryout, and it wasn't actually officially released. I handed it out to a few friends, and it wasn't until the first real demo that I released in my domain a year later. I put it on the B-side on my tape, so it kind of came out that way. So from that to The Arrival of the Fire Demon, I recorded a handful of demos. Some of them played, but I think I missed one. Yeah, I missed one. For a new journey. But it's just try out and try and find out how to write music, where I was going with it, and kind of finding my own style and make it a bit more refined and actually learning how to actually write songs instead of just bashing out a lot of noise.
So in a way it was the beginning
of
the multi-musician.
Yeah, it was a learning process. It was just trying out, didn't know what the hell I was doing, and just try out and step by step kind of learning how to actually get control of this bunch of noise that I was making, and actually finding out how to write songs and without slipping away from the point that I was starting out with. So and from then on, and then as I have released a few albums, kind of trying to dare to put a bit more melody into it, a bit more feeling into it, more emotion, a bit more atmosphere, character, soul. and finding out how to do things. So development step by step. So that whole demo era from the Satan and demonic domain to death, infernal journey, which is missing up there. It's somewhere. Yeah. And just moving on.
So number 2 of 3 of good this or good that. Text message or call.
Text message. I'm not very good at talking on the phone. I'm more comfortable writing. It's just more me. Kind of not that socially.
So like me, I'm not so good in front of a camera.
Yeah. It's kind of, I'm trying to kind of get used to this. But I hope it's going all right.
You are doing great.
Thank you.
And I'm happy to have you here.
Thank you.
At your first interview.
My first camera interview.
Yeah. Okay, so from an interview you made on your first full album released, Arrival of the Fire Demon.
Way back.
Yes, you spoke about being dissatisfied with how the sound and production came to be. How would you say, looking back and looking now, how is your view on how the sound? I'm just going to the bathroom.
Oh yeah.
How would you say, looking back and looking now, how you view on how the sound has bettered?
From the Arrival album. Well, it's kind of the sound on Arrival is kind of shitty, to be honest. Yeah, it is. But it was recorded on 8 tracks or something like that. The drums were just bashed in on 3 tracks, and it was just a bunch of demo songs.
It's like Eagle, it was really old school.
It was just, just put it in, bang, and just didn't do much with the production. It was just like the demos, it was just recorded and not really produced, and on very few tracks, and in the rehearsal room here, and then play in a corner here, and just... So the sound was really crap, to say like it is, but it kind of fit the songs. It kind of fit the album as it is. It could have been recorded better. But on the other hand, that's the kind of the atmosphere around that style of black metal. It wasn't done on purpose. It was just what I had. I didn't have anything else. Like I had these 8 tracks, and I plug it in and play it. That's how it turned out. And from album to album, I've used the same kind of equipment going from 8 to 16 tracks, and just so from 2 or 3 tracks on the drums to put 6 or 8 tracks if I had microphones enough. It developed the sound, of course. It became better, and I, as producing everything myself, I have always done everything myself. No one else has touched upon anything.
That way it becomes truly pure.
Yeah,
well.
It becomes, how I want it, or how it turns out accidentally. But then step by step you learn how to develop the sound and how to record it to make it sound better and better. And making the sound stronger, making it more bottom, more brightness to the sound, and actually making it sound as close to what I have in my head. So, it's just learning by being along the way, and producing everything and recording everything myself. I learn a lot all the time. So in that sense it becomes better, but it's not because Blackhorned has to become a great produced band with a big studio production. It will never work. It wouldn't fit.
Lose the soul of it.
Lose the essence of it. It kind of lose the character that Blackhorned stands for. Kind of keeping it primitive, keeping it simple, keeping the the soul into it, you know, having that essence of what it is. So I think that's I still want to keep it that way.
Yeah. And I like the sound. So
No, thank you.
Keep on hearing it.
Thank you.
Have you always written all of the music for Blackhorned? And when there were extra members in the band, did it become a band thing to write together, or have it always been you mainly writing every release?
I've always been a songwriter. I've always written all of the songs and arranging them and stuff like that. So it has always been me. At the time I had a period where I was playing some shows, played some live shows, and I had a bunch of friends, you know, to kind of help me out.
Yeah.
And I mean, there was some inspiration from, you know, one of the guitarists, is a very, very good guitarist called Pete, and he had, you know, kind of just not adding to it, but just his playing and all of that kind of inspired me as well. So there was something, and he actually added a few leads on the Dark Season album, because he heard on the songs that I have recorded, because I had just started playing live with the band when I recorded that album, and he heard some places in the songs where it could be cool to have something. Could I try out a lead here or something here without changing the songs, but just adding to it? And the other guitarist had a riff he couldn't fit into anything, so he asked if I could use it, learn it and use it, and he got credit for that riff in one song. And you know, stuff like that, kind of, you know, you get inspired.
But you have played together with him also in some of his music, what I know from
Pete? Yeah. I helped his band Illnat out for a year as a drummer, because they were in a crisis with the lineup, and they had a lot of you know, shows to play. So I joined the band as a drummer for a period there, and recorded one song and made one video, and played 5 shows, I think it was. So it was a fun experience. A lot of partying going on at that time.
I think also it sounds like you two collaborate good with each other.
Yeah. I also helped him as a drummer for his instrumental guitar rock thing called Beat Freak. I helped him out a bit at that time. So yeah, we had a good chemistry about, you know, music. Different tastes as well, you know, in different directions. My style of music was so different from his, and he wasn't maybe a fan of that direction of black metal. He was more into the well-produced melodic thing, and I was very much into that, which I was doing, of course.
So was it like you could also feed learning learn by each other as well?
Absolutely. And yeah, it's a good thing when you have that kind of chemistry where you can inspire each other without changing each other's music, but you can get some small ideas in there. There was actually, all of the albums I've recorded myself as a one-man band. It's a solo thing. But there was one time where I actually tried to put it all together as a real band with a real lineup, you know, and ending the solo thing and becoming a band for a very short period. And we recorded an EP for this split with the Canadian band called Hack It Down, and we recorded 4 songs, 3 new ones and a re-recording of an old demo classic. And it was cool. It really worked. It's one of the best productions we had, and really tight and really good. And we played one show, one of the best shows we've ever played. I mean, when we played live, it was also a tryout. Again, you know, that was the first time for me as a frontman, and having the guys just learning the songs, and it was rushed together, and some shows were great, a few shows really sucked, but you know, it's how it goes. You know?
Yeah.
But the last show we played as a live band was one of the best shows. Tight, fast, aggressive, to the point, loud as hell, and I mean, then that was it, and it kind of stopped there.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of different reasons. It kind of.
But it was a good like ending on that era.
I think it was, because we kind of made that recording and played that show, and it was just boom, a good way to kind of take a hold. You know, and I was actually on the verge of ending the band at that point. You know, I think I kind of had enough. I was running tired, wanting to do something different.
Yeah.
And had a lot of things going on, so I kind of, you know, said, kind of had enough. I'm gonna go in different directions and try different things. But you know, once you have enough of this music, you can't end it. So all of a sudden, in 2013, I recorded a new album.
Yeah.
Again by myself, and it's been that way ever since.
That relates to the next question. As a solo creator of Blackhorned, is it still easier writing it all by yourself, or does it get harder to write all the music alone?
I'm very comfortable doing everything on my own, because then I get things the way I want it. But of course, I want to have some feedback and some response and a sparring partner. And I mean, we make music together as well, and I have my good buddy Micheal from my band Ravishing, my death metal band, and he also hears my ideas and say, yeah, it could be cool. Yeah, this is maybe go more for this and that and stuff like that. But you know, I write everything myself, and that's really what I want to continue doing for Blackhorned, and I feel comfortable with that.
To number 3 of 3.
Ba, ba.
Side questions: good this or good that? Pancakes or waffles?
Pancakes or waffles? Once again, one of those impossible questions. Oh my god. I would go with pancakes. With ice cream. On it. You can't go wrong with that. But waffles are also amazing. Jam on it. I'm sure.
Perhaps you're gonna have some later.
I'm kind of getting, you know.
Ideas. In
Yep.
2012, Blackhorned made a split CD, as you spoke of before,
This
with
one.
Hagedam.
Yeah.
How did this happen? And would you like to make a split again with another band?
Oh yeah. As I was talking about before the break. I had a few songs. I had a few songs that I wanted to record with the band as a whole band. You know, it's kind of teasing you right there. It's kind of technique.
I hate technique.
Oh yeah, computers can piss me off sometimes.
Yeah, me too.
But well, back to the answer. It was I had some songs that I wanted to record as an EP to show this, that for the first time I had an actual lineup to record and play with as Blackhorned. That's for the first time it was a whole band recording something with Blackhorned. And I had 3 new songs and 1 re-recording of an old demo song. And the split came about actually quite as an incident, because there was this Canadian band called Hagedam, and I saw the vocalist for the band had a Blackhorned shirt on for a live show, and I commented on it and said, you know, cool shirt, and you kind of knew who I was. So we kind of started chatting, and then he asked me if I had some material with Blackhorned that I could use for a split he had going on, because the band that was supposed to be on that split has bailed out in the last minute, and they were to be released on War Productions from Portugal. And I said, yeah, I actually just recorded something, or we're about to record something for an EP, so we could use those 4 songs. So we recorded them and put out a promo of these 4 songs to kind of show around, you know, and then we added it to the split CD. This came out, and it's very, very cool. You should get it.
Nice.
So and Hackerdam is a very good band. They've been around for a while. Recording a few albums, I think. Yeah, I don't. 4 albums, maybe. I'm not quite sure. But they're still going, and they're really, really good. Very aggressive black metal, kind of in the vein of Marduk kind of style, war black metal kind of thing. Really cool. And but would I do it again if the opportunity came up and I had the material and it was a good offer for a good release? I would do it. You know, if it was kind of like that. Or a split vinyl would be cool again. You know. So if the right person, right band, kind of the right thing came about, I would definitely do it.
So, you just had a new release out on Bandcamp, The Rise of Nama. Will we see it in a physical release in the future?
Actually, yeah. A small label called Narcoleptic Productions. I don't remember right now at the top of my head where they're from, but you know, he will release bass support metal, and they are a very underground label. He runs everything by himself, and so it's just for his own money. I think it is. So they will release this new album. You know, all of these are still available. You know, they can still be bought, be ordered, also directly from me. And this new album, The Rise of Evil, The Rise of Nama, Evil Nama, The Rise of Nama, yeah, which is just recently recorded, and it is released on Bandcamp in digital form, and Narcoleptic Productions will release the CD version of it within a couple of months, actually. So I'm looking very much forward to get that in my hands. So finally that is coming out as well. So still the previous album, Lost Souls of Mental Famine, which I recorded in 2013, hasn't been released officially in physical form yet, but I hope that will come out on CD or something. It is released in digital form on Bandcamp. You can get it there as well. So this is this is just a promo version of it, CD-R version of it that was sent out to labels, and the cassette version is out as well.
Which reminds me of that I can see behind us.
Yeah.
You are a nerd on the metal front.
I am. Indeed.
You got so many different releases and different kinds of releases.
Yeah.
So I can't help wondering, if you could choose the next release for Blackhorned with no limits, how would it be? How would it look?
In what format? If it's the next one, or The Rise of Nama.
Perhaps the next one.
next one. But of course I would also have The Rise of Nama.
Yeah.
I would very much like gatefold vinyl with some color or splattered vinyl and a picture vinyl.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the ultimate format for me to release. I love vinyl. I'm a vinyl fanatic. So it's so cool to have it and put it on. A band I played in previous called Victimizer, we had an album released on Gatefold and on Picture, and you know, it's so amazing to get that stuff, and, you know, to finally have it in your hand. And also the only vinyl release from Blackhorned, which is just behind you there, Lost in a Twilight World, came out on black vinyl and on green vinyl actually, and it's such a good feeling.
Yeah.
But you know, of course, vinyl's pretty expensive to press, so you know, it's much easier to get a CD release out and more people would buy it. But you know, vinyl is coming back in big form, so but that would be the ultimate format, to have a gatefold cover. You know, as a kid you're sitting looking at the cover and opening it up, and it's a whole world opening up and putting on. It's a ritual by itself. And I love it. And to have your own music released that way is just perfect. So that is the ultimate thing.
Nice. Perhaps in 2021, as Blackhorned has a 20 years jubileum.
20 years. Time flies by.
So
got to me. Oh.
So to the Blackhorned fans out there, have you anything planned for them?
None other than that this CD is coming out, and well, nothing really planned. I will at some point start writing new songs, but you know, at this point this album is coming out on CD, and it is out on Bandcamp, so it is available now, the new album. So I mean, I think that's the only thing right now. I don't have any live plans or anything like that. If the opportunity comes up and the right people gather around, yes, I don't know. I haven't thought about it. I haven't planned that. You know, so much else going on in my life, so I haven't given that any thought. So, you know, so as it is for now, it's just as it is for now, it's just this album is coming out, and I hope that as many people will buy it. So and buy all the old albums as well, and just keep supporting and enjoying it. I mean, there's people. I mean, for this sort of music, you know, there's people who like it and people who doesn't like it, and you know, there's always a mixed bag of people. But the people who like it support it and buy it. You know, I think it's the same thing for every band. There are supporters, and then there's people who doesn't give a shit.
So, as the last part of the interview, and thank you for it.
You're welcome.
Do you have anything to say to your fans out there?
Oh, I mean, just thank you for all of your support, and keep on supporting. And I really appreciate it. You know, everybody who is writing, everybody who is buying, ordering the music, and just, you know, putting stuff up on YouTube. Sometimes I see, you know, some of the music is up there, and it's like, wow, people actually take the time to. People actually give a shit. So, thank you to everybody for buying the album. Keep supporting and keep buying the music and keep supporting metal.
I know I shouldn't say this, but I am really camera shy. And last time I made an interview, I was that drunk. So this time, no alcohol in my veins, so just crush your fingers for having the comfort in an interview. Hey.